This account was sent to our channel by someone who asked to remain anonymous. The experience you're about to hear changed this person's life forever, and to this day, they still try to understand what really happened. Before we start, like and follow the channel so you don't miss the upcoming stories, which, due to national security concerns, might be taken down at any moment. Call me F. That's it. I've been working as a photographer for over 20 years. I've been to war zones, covered violent protests, plane crashes, even active volcanoes. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what I saw that late afternoon over the Vatican. It was supposed to be just another assignment. CNN had sent me to cover an internal Vatican event, a low-key visit from representatives of different religions for a piece on interfaith dialogue. A simple job. Shots of the dome, a few outdoor images, natural sunset lighting. That's all. The afternoon was oddly quiet, even for Vatican standards. The usual sounds of tourists chatting and fountains splashing seemed muffled, like someone had turned down the world's volume. And that's when, out of pure professional instinct, I aimed my lens at the top of St. Peter's Basilica. Through the viewfinder, I saw something that made no sense. It was a metallic structure, but it didn't reflect light like a normal drone or helicopter would. It hovered perfectly still, completely motionless, above the dome. The strangest part? No shadow, no sound, just presence. It was there, watching, observing. At first, I thought it might be a reflection, some glitch with the lens. I changed angles, swapped lenses, even climbed onto the rooftop of the building across from the Vatican. And it was still there. A dark, oval-shaped object with a sort of ring spinning around it, almost like a visible electromagnetic field. That's when I started snapping photos like crazy. Dozens of shots. I zoomed in, adjusted ISO, changed settings across all format. And still, the more I captured it, the stronger the strange feeling in the air grew. Like I was being watched back. Suddenly, a deep, strong humming filled my ears. Everything around me seemed to slow down. People moved like they were underwater. A group of nuns stopped walking and looked straight up at the sky, pointing. I wasn't the only one seeing it. But when I turned for just a second to see their reaction, the object was gone. No sound, no sudden movement. Just gone. As if it had never been there. The scariest part came later. When I went back to review the photos, something was wrong. I went back to my hotel room shaking. I tried to rationalize what had happened. Maybe it was some kind of secret military drone, or maybe just an illusion caused by the sun, fatigue, anything. I needed proof, and I had the photos. At least, I thought I did. I connected the camera to my laptop, and that's when the real terror began. The images were corrupted. Not all of them, but exactly the sequence where the object appeared. The earlier shots, the Vatican, tourists, architecture, were perfect. But from the moment I started focusing on the object, every image showed interference. Distorted lines, black fragments. Some even seemed to show a kind of shadow in the sky. But it was as if the images themselves were fighting against me. I knew what I had seen. I knew what I had felt. But right there, in front of my eyes, the evidence was being wiped out. As if that thing, that presence, had some kind of control over the technology around it. That same night, I contacted a CNN image technician friend. Someone who, like me, had experience dealing with digital manipulation, red errors, card failures. He analyzed the files remotely. And his answer was, these files were manually compromised. There's clear evidence of a strong electromagnetic interference. This isn't equipment failure. I started feeling paranoid. I didn't sleep that night. My room window faced St. Peter's Square, and even though I knew it made no sense, I felt like it was still there, somewhere above the clouds, watching. The next morning, before sunrise, 2 men approached me in the hotel lobby. Dark suits, heavy American accent. One of them showed a badge I couldn't identify, just a circular, almost hypnotic symbol. They said they were there for my safety, and that they had information about an aerial event from the night before. One of them called me by my full name, something I had never shared when booking the hotel. They asked me, calmly but with an absolutely threatening tone, to hand over the camera's memory card. I refused. Told them I needed it to deliver my material. They smiled. Then one of them leaned in and whispered in my ear, "You don't want to end up like the priest from 2018, do you?" I had no idea what he was talking about. But at that moment, a deep fear gripped me. Something primal. Like my mind was being invaded, like they knew everything about me. I rushed back to my room and, that same day, moved up my flight home. But to this day, that presence, that object, and that encounter haunt my dreams. Sometimes I wake up to the same humming in my ears. Sometimes I see that still light in the sky, even when I know there's nothing there. Follow our channel so you don't miss the next stories, which, for national security reasons, might be taken down at any moment. If you believe these stories need to be heard before they disappear, like and share this video. Your support is essential. It's been almost 8 months since that day at the Vatican, but the feeling of being watched hasn't gone away. And no matter how hard I've tried to get back to my routine, something inside me has changed. Like I touched a reality that wasn't meant to be touched. Like I witnessed something no one was ever supposed to see. I came back to the United States afraid to share what I had experienced, but something kept eating away at me. I still had a copy of the photos, a hidden backup on my external hard drive, buried among files from an old project. The images were still there, corrupted, yes, but with details that seemed to mutate over time. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but I have no other way to explain it. In one of the images, a triangular shape started to appear weeks later, as if the information was slowly being revealed. Pixels that were once distorted began to reorganize. In another, faint markings showed up, almost imperceptible symbols in the sky, like some kind of alien script floating above the Vatican dome. I showed it to a physicist friend who works with spectroscopy. He said the interference pattern didn't match any known form of natural electromagnetic distortion. He used a phrase that still gives me chills. If I didn't know this came from a camera, I'd swear it was captured by a radio telescope observing another galaxy. After that, he disappeared. Gone. Doesn't answer his phone. His wife said he left for a conference and never came back. The hotel where he was supposed to stay says he never even checked in. That's when I realized, what I saw wasn't just an object in the sky. It was a presence, and it noticed me. In the weeks that followed, strange things started happening. Cars parked for hours outside my building. Constant interference on my electronic. And the worst part, the nightmares. Nightmares so vivid I started to fear falling asleep. Always the same scene. I'm back at St. Peter's Square, but it's empty. No sound. No movement. And above me, hovering, the same object, now larger, pulsing a red light from its center. A voice whispering words I can't understand, but that make me cry. It's like my mind is being invaded again. Like I'm being scanned, broken down. I developed an overwhelming fear of open skies. Constant paranoia. And then, one random night, the terror reached its peak. I woke up to flashing lights inside my room. A bluish light that seemed to pass right through the walls. I ran into the building's hallway and there was no one. No neighbors. No sounds. Just that glow, slowly fading away. On the floor of my living room, there was a triangle drawn with ashes. And in the center, a circle. Exactly like the shape that appeared in the image over the Vatican dome. Since then, I've been constantly on the move. Changing cities every 2 weeks. Not answering unknown calls. And for my safety, I decided to send this story to the channel. I don't know if I'll ever have the courage to show the images. But if anything happens to me, someone needs to know. Someone needs to keep investigating. Because whatever was up there, it knows who I am now. Since all of this happened, I can't live like I used to anymore. People look at me and see a tired photographer, maybe a little paranoid, a little lost. But what no one knows, what no one wants to know, is that the world we believe we live in is just a layer, a comfortable illusion, because something bigger, something incomprehensible, is behind it, watching. And somehow, I crossed the line. I've tried talking to other journalists. I even thought about leaking the material anonymously. But every time I try to take a step in that direction, something happens. My computer freezes, my internet goes out, I receive encrypted messages that disappear in seconds. Sometimes they're just coordinates. Other times, snippets of censored documents. Like they're testing me. Like they're saying, "We're here. We know what you're about to do." And the most disturbing thing, every night, without fail, I wake up at 3:33 a.m. Always that time. I wake up drenched in sweat, with the same sound in my ear, a low hum, like time itself is trembling. A few nights ago, I found a burnt feather next to my bed. I have no idea what it means, but I know it wasn't there before. I'm not telling this to scare anyone. I wish I could believe it was just a delusion, a mental breakdown from accumulated stress. But everything in me, everything I lived, says otherwise. I saw something real, something that exists above us. Not just physically, but on a level of consciousness we don't understand. A level that ignores our rules, our logic, our time. And for some reason, they chose the Vatican, one of the most symbolic centers of faith and spiritual authority on Earth. Why? Are they trying to communicate with those who control human faith? Or are they just observing, measuring our reaction to the divine? I don't have answers. Only questions that eat away at me every day. What if they are among us, silent, camouflaged, watching us from above, or maybe even standing right beside us? What if the truth is right in front of us, but we've been conditioned to ignore it? Even now, while recording this audio, I look up at the sky and feel that pit in my stomach. At any moment, it could reappear. At any moment, I could be silenced for good. That's why I'm leaving this story here. If something happens to me, now you know. It wasn't a coincidence. Even now, this person is still afraid to talk about what happened. Was it something from this world or far beyond what we can imagine? What do you think? Leave your comment, like, share, and follow the channel. If you believe these stories need to be heard before they disappear, your support is essential.